In 1935, Dr. Donovan R. Berlin of the Curtiss-Wright Corporation designed the P-36, a new lightweight fighter aircraft, and the company won a contract to supply 210 of them to the US Army in 1937. However, it was soon realised that the latest British and German fighters were far superior, and Curtiss developed a much improved new version, the XP-40, that first flew in 1938. The US Army accepted this new design in 1939, designated it the P-40, and ordered the first 540 examples of the aircraft. Though often outclassed by enemy fighters in terms of speed, maneuverability and rate of climb, the P-40 earned a reputation for ruggedness and was highly effective in the fighter bomber and reconnaissance roles. It served in many theatres, including the Aleutian Islands, Italy, the Middle East, the Far East, the Southwest Pacific, and some were sent to Russia. More than 14,000 P-40s of all types were produced for service in the air forces of 28 nations. Initially, the United States Army Air Force simply used the designation P-40. In 1940, France ordered 140 P-40s, but surrendered to Germany before they could be delivered, and these aircraft entered service with the Royal Air Force, where they were named Tomahawk. The later P-40D incorporated so many changes that it was renamed Kitty Hawk, and from then on all P-40 models in British and Commonwealth service were known as Kitty Hawk. The United States Army Air Force used the name Warhawk from the P-40F onwards. The P-40N Warhawk was introduced in 1943 in an attempt to improve the performance of the obsolescent P-40 without having to design an entirely new aircraft. The first 1,500 were to have been delivered as P-40Ps powered by Merlin engines, but shortages of the Packard-built Merlin caused this order to be cancelled, and the Allison-powered P-40N was substituted in its place. 5,220 P-40Ns were eventually built. In British and Commonwealth service, P-40Ns were designated the Kitty Hawk Mark IV. This P-40N was built in 1942 for the Chinese Air Force and had nationalist Chinese markings applied in the factory. However, it actually entered service with the US 5th Air Force and was eventually abandoned at Taji Airfield in Papua New Guinea at the end of the war, along with a number of other unwanted aircraft. It was recovered in 1974, restored, and displayed at a variety of locations in New Zealand and in Australia in both private collections and briefly at the Royal Australian Air Force Museum. It was returned to flying condition in 2002 and listed on the Australian Civil Register as VH KTI. It is currently the only flying P-40 in Australia.